Hey everyone, Caleb with Antique Book Collective, and today I'm getting to you guys with should I get ExLibrary books for my eBay business or eBay store? And this is obviously the sequel to my last one about ExLibrary books. So right off the bat, I'm going to say, I'm sure you guys already know the answer, but I would say an absolute yes, you should get ExLibrary books for your eBay store if you are selling books in general. So the only times I would say you shouldn't do that is if you are known as an eBay store that only sells new books or like very good condition or like new books or something like that where all your books are like up here, because ex-library books are known to be like in the good category or acceptable category most of the time. Like sometimes I will admit that I have had some ex-library books that I wish I could have said were like new, but the only issue is they have the stamps, they have the this, and that is what makes them the good category, is the stamps and all the other markings libraries put in. So there is that whole thing of ex-library books are not very good, they're not like new, and they're definitely not new. So that is the only time I would say you should not have them in your store. However, that being said, I would say that most people, especially people like me who have just no bottom tier for books that I put in. I mean, I think the worst I have ever done is acceptable because it didn't have a cover or spine or something like that. And again, those are just because those are like really antique books, and people are willing to accept that because these books are so stinking old. And that same thing applies for ex-library books. Is yeah, they're not the most beautiful things out there, but because they are so old, for me, I buy the really old ex-library books, and because they are so old, that is where the value really is for them. It's not because it's, oh, it's not the prettiest book out there, it's, oh, this is the only one I can get my hands on. So, because of that, I would say that you definitely should get ex-library books in your eBay store if you are a bookseller like me. All of that being said, there are some issues to it. There is a lot of caveats to be had. One of those caveats is, oh, well, it's an ex-library book. I can do this and this and this to improve it, to make it look not like an ex-library book, but make it look better. But at the end of the day, it's still going to be an ex-library book. I know you can fix 1,000,005 things on it, but it's still going to be an ex-library book. It's in the bones. It's everyone already knows it's ex-library, and there's only so many things you can take off. And at the end of the day, I mean, all those fixes that you do on those books, all that time that you put in, you might end up actually doing damage to the book. I know I have personally damaged a few books as I was trying to clean them up, and I don't normally do that with the really expensive, really rare ones, but for the cheaper ones that I'm just trying to experiment new ways of cleaning books and stuff like that, I have had some books that I have just completely destroyed as I was trying to fix them, and I'm just like, well, that was regrettable. And I like am like, well, I took it from this condition down to this condition as I was trying to fix it. So yay for me. So that is something you guys definitely do want to think about when you are doing your ex-library books in your eBay store. Personally, for me, I do not like repairing the books. I don't like, well, I do clean the books a little bit, but I don't like doing those deep cleaning, like taking off all of the Sharpie marks. I don't take off this and this and this. I do like to deal with any issues that I know I can fix easy cheesy and that I know will make the book a whole lot better. But I don't like to put all the time in because I have other listings I need to get to. I have other books that need listed. And at the end of the day, it's an ex-library book. A lot of them don't have the value baked in that makes it so it's really worth putting all the time into. So for me, I know that my time is worth X much. So if I'm spending this much time trying to fix the book up, and if this much time only improves the value of the book this much, that's not worth my time to put in all that. So I am perfectly willing to sell that book for a little bit less. Someone else can buy it and fix it up and do all that sort of stuff, and they can even resell it for all I care. But for me, I'm here to make the easiest profit I can as fast as I can. Yes, there are some books I do the repairs on, but those are in the severe minority. And the longer and longer I've been doing this business, the less and less books I am repairing because my time is too valuable to be wasted doing such things. If you guys are brand new, you might want to be doing those repairs just so you can learn how to do it first off. Ex-library books are a great medium to learn on just because they are so much cheaper and all that sort of stuff. So that being said, I highly recommend buying and selling antique books and ex-library books in particular for those antique books on your store. For newer books that are ex-library, maybe not so much. I have not had as much luck selling, like, say, Harry Potter as an ex-library book because someone can buy Harry Potter as a non-ex-library book a lot easier or just as easily. So for me, I do have to sell the more vintage or antique books of ex-library books. So that is something you should keep in mind. In fact, believe it or not, I actually just sold an ex-library book of Ramona Quimby, which is a pretty popular kids book. And This book, I think it was published in like 1981 or something like that. So that's not actually that old of a book. So that's 41 years old as of today. That's not that old, but I was still able to sell that particular book. I bought it for $1, I believe, and I sold it for $20. That's a pretty good markup, and that was off of an ExLibrary book. So that's something that you guys definitely want to keep in mind. I mean, I know $20 is not my normal low end of things to sell on. That was actually I accepted a best offer for, but it is definitely a good enough price for me to be happy with because I paid $1. That's still a good profit. And at the end of the day, you guys have to decide what kind of profits you want with your books. Sometimes getting an ExLibrary book does still allow you to get a book because it's still within your profit margin. So be sure to check out all the books you can, guys. Like, it might be an ExLibrary book, everyone else might be avoiding it, but you guys might be able to find a few diamonds inside of that rough, and you guys might be able to make some really good money. So all that said and done, I would encourage you guys to check out my other ExLibrary book video, which will be right around there. If you guys are new to my channel and if you want to learn more about antique books and eBay selling, be sure to subscribe there, and I will see you guys in the next one.